What's up, y'all? Wanted to come at you with another video here. I know I was supposed to do that earlier in the week. Got a little busy. Me and my son went on an out-of-town trip with my pastor and some fine gentlemen from church. And we were gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we came back yesterday afternoon sometime. So, sorry about that. Didn't get to that. So, this channel's supposed to be about our testimony, where we've been, things that we've been through, what's going on now, and let you guys walk through the journey of where we're going. It's been a blessing so far. Been lots of trials, lots of tribulations and things, but I can just tell you and assure you it's been well worth it, and God's done miraculous things in our life. But anyway, I was going to take this second video and turn it into the next part of my testimony. But went to the store, and I feel like God's telling me I need to talk about something a little bit different. And so anyway, here goes. I'm going to face some backlash on this. I'm going to have some people that will agree, disagree, whatever. That's cool, guys. Post some comments, email me, text me, talk. Let's talk about it. But anyway, so here goes. I was at the store earlier, and we got some kids and some families that it's rough, guys. These kids screaming at the top of their lungs, throwing things at their parents, throwing absolute tantrums in the middle of the floor. You're in line, and they're screaming and yelling at their mom, telling them no, and the dad. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them, the dads aren't even there, but there are some of the dads that standing back behind them, staring at their phones, while these kids are annihilating their mother. And I just got to say, if that's you, shame on you guys. But guys, we got to get better with our children, with our kids. We are, in fact, raising a generation of spoiled kids, and it's not the kids' fault. It's really not. People, go out, in essence, just like I did. I was just going out to the store to get some things for my wife. She's canning some spaghetti sauce. Yes, it's amazing. And come across these families, and it's just off the hook, man. And we got to get better. We got to have conversations with our kids. But you got these dads standing back there, staring at their phones, letting these kids act a fool. And the mothers, sometimes, they're doing their best. But it ain't, in essence, it's not their job. I don't even want to call it a job, not their duty, I guess you would say. Mothers are natural born lovers. They're to love their kids and be there when they're sick, and when they got their boo-boo, they be the one to kiss them, whatever you want to call it. I mean, but the dads, your job is to be the disciplinarian of the family. Your job's not to beat your kids. Your job isn't to belittle your kids. Number one, your job is to get to know your kids. Pay attention to your kids. And you can't do that staring at your phone the majority of the time. You can't get that sitting on the couch watching TV and telling your kids just to get out of my face. I went through a stage of life when I was younger and a young dad that I stared at a video game more than I did my kid. Just being real with you, I did. And we went through that struggle. But we got to have conversations with our kids. These children, I would tend to say they was all not under the age of 4. There was a couple of them that was 2 and 3 years old screaming at their parents. And then you got their parents begging their kids and pleading with their kids, please stop, guys, please stop. They don't get it, guys. They don't understand it. They don't have the mental capacity to understand what you're saying, And when we're sitting here begging our children to quit, you need to quit. We need to stand up and buck up and be a parent that we're called to be. You can't explain your situation to the child. They don't understand. They don't have that mental capacity to understand what you're telling them. You have to take the choice away from them. They don't have a choice to act that way. They don't have a choice to stop. They don't have a choice to respect you. That choice is yours to explain to them and teach them. That's your job. So, the Bible, here we go. This is the subject in today's world that isn't really received well, but it is what it is. The Bible talks about spare the rod, spoil the child. I'm not telling you to take your belt off and wrap it around your kid's waist to where he can't sit down. That's called child abuse. There's a difference in child abuse, and there's a difference in discipline. And nothing wrong busting your kid's butt. You just think about, just in life in general, I'm a religious man. My life's based upon faith. It's based upon the Bible. And I'm a firm believer that the things that I go through is for a reason. We go through tough times, we go through struggles, but the pain lasts. I went through my addiction. If you haven't seen the first video, please go back and watch it, and it'll get you caught up a little bit on my testimony. But went through a pornography addiction thing there, cost me my marriage 3 times, but the final time we walked through that, I was different, and I knew God had helped me with that. I tried to do it on my own before and I couldn't, and going through that, I caused my wife some severe pain. I watched tears flow down my wife's face because I lost her trust. Or she had, I don't even know how to word it. Anyway, she couldn't trust me anymore. And I could get mad and blame her or say whatever, but 100% my fault. And, but what helps me now is the pain that I saw, the pain that I went through of dang near destroying my family. So when I get to the point of, watching TV, or, I'm an Olympic nut. I love watching the Olympics. It's actually on my TV at the present moment. But it's hard sometimes. Sometimes I got to turn the TV off. Sometimes I got to get up and leave the room. But when I want to go down that path, or I feel like the enemy's trying to draw me down the path of pornography, or I'm at home alone with my phone or computer, or whatever the case may be, that pain pops back in my head. I can see it, I can visualize it, I can feel the pain again. Listen, guys, when your kid acts up and you've warned them 6, 7, 8 times, guys, quit warning your kids. Quit telling your kids you're going to get up when you realize you're not getting up. I'm not going to tell you again. Yeah, you are. The kid knows it. They know you're going to say it again. You tell your kids you're going to do something, do it, because otherwise they know you're not going to. Oh, I'm not worried about that. I tell my kids, yeah, I'm not going to tell you again. It's because I'm not, because the next time there's going to be consequence. So when you bust your kid's butt, first off, you don't do it out of anger. You don't do it out of frustration, hate, whatever you want to call it. You're doing it out of love. You're doing it because you're trying to teach your kid right versus wrong. Your kids are at a stage of life right now, some more crucial than other. Once they get 16 years old, whatever it is, the days of busting their butts over. You better have that done, or you're going to be in trouble. So when your kids are at a younger age, you don't have to beat your kids all the time. You don't have to, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying every time your kid does something minute that you bust their butt. But what I am saying is discipline needs to happen. If you don't want to bust your kid's butt, whatever, but have some discipline, guys. Don't beg your kids. Don't bribe your kids. If you're one of those that tell your kid, well, if you be good while we go in here in the store, we're going to get some ice cream when we leave. That's bribery, and that's not good parenting. You tell your kid, you be good in the store because you're supposed to be good in the store. That way, when they go to work, or they grow up and they go places, they're just being good because they're supposed to. They're not being good because, I'm going to get something in return for being good. No, you're doing it because you're a good human being and you've been raised to be a good human being. And so anyway, don't bribe your kids. Don't threaten your kids. Threats don't do anything. If you're going to tell your kid that I'm not going to tell you again, don't tell them again. Do something about it. But all I'm saying is, guys, we got to get better, big time. We're failing in the parental side of things, and it's getting pretty bad. You know, you look at the Clark County Fair this weekend. That they said they had numerous calls, numerous people arrested, fights, which you have some of that every year. But from what I'm hearing, again, I wasn't there. I don't know 1,000%. I didn't witness anything, but I've had, family members and friends tell me what was going on. Heard it on the news and things. Take it for what it is, but it was bad. And it's coming from parents not doing your jobs. And guys, we got to quit blaming the kids. It's not the kids' fault. It is once they become adults. They have a free will to change. But when you're 12, 14, 15, 16 years old, you're a reflection of your parents. It's just the way it is. I'm a reflection of my mom and my dad. I have instances where I'll just be sitting in a chair and I'll see that I'm just like my dad, or the way I talk to somebody, and one of the things I get from my mom is heart for people and helping, and so I see my parents and myself every day, and but yeah, let's get better with our kids. Biggest thing too, when you go out and you guys are out to eat, put your phones down. I go out and I see families of 4, 5, 6 people sitting around. You have a mom and a dad and some kids, ranging from 5 years old to 16 years old, whatever you want to call it. And every single one of them have the phone out. And the whole time we're there, nothing gets said. Really? Is your phone that important that you can't talk to your kids? You can't talk to your parents? We have a rule. My kids will tell you the rule. When we go out to eat, the phones go away. We sit around the house here and stuff, and we'll be on our phones and things, and we'll Facebook some when we're out, whatever it is. But when we go to eat, the phones go away. And they don't get pulled out. I don't care if we're talking about something we've seen, whatever it is, we don't pull the phones out. And the 95% of the time we don't answer the phone. Why? Because it's family time, and we got to get back to family time. We got to get back to sitting around the table with our kids and having conversations. We personally don't sit around a table. Usually it is always filled with my wife canning vegetables, and that's a great thing, but we do sit around. We got our chairs in our living room and stuff set up to where we go in there and sit, and we watch a couple programs together, but we have conversations about life and life in general. What's going on with you guys? If you have a conversation with your daughter or your son, and all they say is when they come home is, how was school, guys? Oh, it's fine. And they go on. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, they just keep going and say, it was fine, it was fine, it was fine. Probably it wasn't fine. There's probably something going on, and you might want to look into that. But either way, if you're not having conversations with the kids, how do you know if anything's going on? You don't. So have conversations with the kids. Parents, have the tough conversations. Talk about drugs with your kids. Have the uncomfortable sex talk with your kid. I'm just being for real with you. I had it with my daughter when she was 10 and my son when he was 12. But you know what? They sit down on TV and they are exposed to this crap at very young ages. I mean, you watch some of these shows on Nickelodeon and everything else, and they got these teenagers on here making out and everything else. What the heck you think are they doing? They're learning. They're learning from TV. They're learning from society. They're learning from school and friends and everything else. And if you don't have this conversation with them, they're going to learn somewhere. So why not you teach your children, teach your kids, and have that conversation? Was it weird, awkward? 1,000% it was. But I had it, and we talked about it. And now my kids come to me, and we've had conversations before where they've asked questions. and we talk about it. I've had my son come home before, um, and have a talk about drugs, whether it be at school or whatever it is. Come home and say, hey, there was drugs there or whatever it was, and I just decided I needed to leave and come home. Commend your kids for that. You know, you don't got to go in this deep conversation and everything else and just tell them how it's horrible or whatever it is and this is what it could do, but commend your kids. Tell them, dude, I'm proud of you. You know, that way the next time something happens, they're going to come to you. And guys, when your kid comes to you and tells you something that they did that was bad or wrong, or, man, I messed up, Dad, I smoked a cigarette the other day and I just feel awful, they came to you and they trusted you. Now, you can't just push it under the rug like, oh, it's all cool, man. No big deal. It is a big deal. But don't make it to where they don't come to you again. Give them a hug. Show affection. I hug my kids multiple times a day. Watch the videos where we go to church or day hop and everything else. I hug my kids every time they leave just to go to youth group. Why? Because you don't know if it's the last time they're going to go. And I want to know my kid knows that I love them. I kiss my kids goodnight. Well, my daughter anyway. Me and my son, we hug every night and everything else. And me and my daughter hug and kiss at night. And why? Because I love my kids and I want them to know it. Your kids need to feel your affection. They need to feel your love. And if you're not showing it, they don't know it. Quit assuming that your kids know. Quit assuming that your wife knows. But I'm just merely saying, guys, we got to get better. We got to get better at raising our kids the right way. And whether that be timeouts, whatever it is, but don't let your kids get away with stuff. Don't be that family that your kid is screaming at the top of their lungs. And if that is you, fix it. Work on it. And understand that it's not okay. Don't plead with your kids. Don't beg your kids. Your kid's not in charge. You are. When you go to work, you don't beg your boss. You just don't. You don't. And you don't scream at your boss like you're a temper tantrum to get your way. What do? You have a discussion. You sit down, you have a meeting, you talk. Have meetings with your kids. Have a monthly meeting. Sit down at a table, put your phones away, turn the TVs off, and have conversations with your family. Understand where your kids are. Let your kids know where you are. I am open to my kids. My kids know my struggles. My kids know when I'm in my feelings and I'm just upset and slightly depressed or whatever. They know. Why? Because they too can help me through it. Raise your kids up and quit sheltering your kids from everything. Now, that can get you in trouble sometimes, but we have talks with money with my kids. We was I'll get into it in a later video or whatever. We was ready to sign bankruptcy papers 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was. I've talked my kids with this because I don't want them to make the same mistakes that I made. Everybody's like, well, you should. My kids don't need to know. Yeah, they do. Talk life. How are they going to learn? Teach your kids how to treat their wife. Treat your daughter how to treat her husband. What to expect in a wife. What to expect in a husband, so they're not going out here getting one of these kids that don't know how to take care of them. You don't need your standards raised to the moon, but get you a respectable young man or young lady or whatever. But anyway, guys, just wanted to make this video. It's just frustrating to see how we're becoming as a society. Our society's a mess right now, and the only people to blame are the parents. Own it. Fix it. Work towards something better. Let's be better, guys. Again, don't beat your kids. Don't do it out of anger. If you're so ticked off at your kid you're ready to hurt them, walk out the room. And another thing, don't be afraid to apologize to your kids when you have a blow up, because it happens. Been there, done it. Swallow your pride. Go apologize to your kids, because what it does is it shows your kid that you're owning responsibility for your mistake. And what that'll also do is show them they can own theirs. So again, guys, I appreciate you. Love all of you. I'm excited to see where this goes. And God bless you guys. And I will get probably in the next day or two, I'm going to do the video again on my testimony and the next step of that. So Love you guys. See you next time. Have a great night. Bye.